Welcome everyone. This is my second class of mobile computing. So today we will discuss about this is called your introduction to mobile development framework. Okay? So this mobile development framework means basically it is a type of architecture, network architecture that we are implementing in our mobile computing. Okay, so basically in network concept we are applying we are adopting or we are implementing two types of network architecture. First one is your this one is a peer-to-peer architecture, and the second one is your client server architecture. Okay, this one is peer-to-peer architecture and client server architecture. So other than that, we will also discuss about the entire architecture and entire architecture with World Wide Web. Okay, but later we will discuss these two things: entire architecture and entire architecture with World Wide Web. Okay? First, we will discuss about peer-to-peer architecture and client server architecture. Okay? So let's go to the next slide. Okay, this is called peer-to-peer network model. Okay, so a peer-to-peer network is a technology that allows a computer to communicate other two or more computers through wire or without wire. This is called wireless. Okay, directly and within this same network system. That means basically these are the there is no central device like server or hub is required to create this type of network. Okay, so you can communicate more than two, three, four, five number of computers, and you connect all these computers through wired or maybe wireless. And wireless, this is called hotspot. You create a and connect all the computers. Okay, that can be possible in wireless, but in peer-to-peer wireless is possible nowadays, but earlier we were using wire. Okay, so this is basically very cheap type of network. There is no high-end devices are required, and this is for a short-term network. Okay? मतलब एक घंटा दो घंटा या एक दिन दो दिन के लिए चाहिए तो we can create this type of network. And other than that, we can transmit data. After creating the network, we can transmit data. I mean the sharing of data, information, software, hardware, printer, everything can be possible. Yeah. So this connection allows an user to easily share the data जो अभी मैंने बोला है. Okay, you can share file sharing, direct messaging, printer sharing, software, hardware, everything can be possible using this type of network. Okay? So how it looks, you see, this is the basic diagram of a peer-to-peer network. Okay, so this diagram is these are the users. Okay, uh, so user 1, user 2, user 3, user 4, printer, all these are connected to each other through cable. Okay, so these are the connection cabling. You can use Cat5 cables, and thing is that one thing is that in wired peer-to-peer it requires more than two number of RJ45 ports or NIC, network interface card, because one computer is directly connected to other two computers or three computers. You see in this diagram I have created a 4 number of computers and one printer. Okay, so using these 4 number, suppose user 1 want other computers, then user 1 must have 3 number of network interface card और RJ45 पोर्ट. okay? NIC बोला जाता है, NIC नेटवर्क इंटरफेस कार्ड और RJ45 सॉरी RJ45. okay? RJ stands for registered jack. okay? So each computer must have 3 number of RJ45 ports, And also you can share internet. Suppose in this computer, laptop or desktop, whatever it may be, if it has internet, then you can share the internet among other users. And there is a printer also, all users can access that printer. Okay? So this is the basic diagram of a your peer-to-peer network model. Okay? Then some pros and cons of peer-to-peer model. Okay, so it is a some pros means advantage of some peer-to-peer model is it is very easy to install. Few hardware are required for installation. No central server is required. Earlier I have already explained that it is very easy to install. It is very cheaper one, and also it is a there is no central hub, switch or server is required. Those are very costly in computer network. Server not coming less than in 1 lakh rupees. No, 1 lakh से नीचे नहीं है. Okay. Switches, if you will go for managed switch, then it's around 2 point, I mean the 2.5 lakh, 3 lakhs like this. Okay. So these are the very costly devices not required for this peer-to-peer model. And disadvantage means these are the user cannot store data centrally, lack of security. Basically, yes, obviously there is no server, then we cannot store our data centrally. Okay, so data can be stored individually computer. जैसे ये जो लास्ट ये देखिए, इसका डाटा जो है user 1 data it can store here only. User 2 it can store its data here only. User 3 it can store its own data. Okay? Like this, all the users can store their own data, but they can share it. Yeah. So there is, because lack of central device, we cannot store anything in a server. Yeah. And another one is lack of security. Yes, so obviously lack of security means if there is a server, that then the server can manage all the security part. If there is a switch or other security devices, then they can manage the security portion. So hackers are difficult to enter into our networks. Okay, so this is the basic drawbacks or major drawbacks of a peer-to-peer computer. Yeah. But nowadays we are not using this peer-to-peer computer. Okay, for instantly, मतलब 1 घंटा 2 घंटा के लिए चाहिए तो it's possible. Yeah? But not for the round the year. Okay? ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट के लिए भी नहीं है, बिल्कुल नहीं है. It's not advisable because of this security problem and data storage problem. Yeah? Then come to the client server architecture. Okay, so basically we are using client server architecture. Wherever you go, you will find client server architecture. Yeah, so in client server architecture, it is a type of architecture where all the computers, including remote computers known as client, are connected through wire or without wire to a high-end computer called server. Okay, so one thing is that all the computers, instead of communicating each other or connecting each other, they are connected to a central device that is called switch. Okay, that switch, there is another central device called server. That server is also connected to the switch, and they are transmitting data through server only. And server means basically what is it? Is a high-end computer. It has a large processing capacity or multitasking processor, having more space, much more space than a desktop PC. Okay? So these are the PCs called server, and these servers are, you cannot get server in the market, available nahi hai. You have to put a order, okay, in a company. So standard server जो है, you can make any computer a server for the instantly, but actually देखा जाए तो server जो है वो market में ऐसे नहीं मिल रहा है. You have to put a order to a company to make a server as per your require, or design a server as per your requirement. Okay, because server always is a multitasking. It means that it may have a multiple processor also. Server have also a multiple processor, not a single processor. Okay, it's depending on the company's requirement. Okay, those who are servers used for scientific purpose, weather forecasting, they are using, or security agencies like army personals or air force or naval banks, they are using this type of server, having two processors. Yeah. So server is always a high-end computer, and server always requests, server always listens to no capacity to perform anything. It will always depends on the server. Okay. So this type of network architecture can provide an interface in such a way so that a client can send requests to the server for various kind of services. Okay. So always clients depends on the server, and server always receives the request from the client and provide the adequate service. किसी क्लाइंट को डेटाबेस चाहिए, किसको इंटरनेट चाहिए, किसको फाइल चाहिए, वॉट एवर दी, बहुत सारा सर्वर है. वी आर इन आवर computer network, so many servers are there. Yeah? So you know, the in internet case, each and every domain is a server बोला जाता है. ओके, उसके लिए एक स्पेस होता है. मान लो सपोज google.com या yahoo.com, इट इज अ सर्वर. okay? सो उसमें स्पेस होता है, उसका पेजेस स्टोर करके रखा जाता है. सो इन द वी आर एक्सेसिंग दैट सर्वर. So these are the so many server. And database, banking sector, they are accessing their data from particular server. कोई बैंक में चले जाओ, उसके पास नहीं है, कुछ नहीं. It uses a client computer. Railway uses a client computer only. Nothing is there inside. When they will sit in the chair, they have to switch on the computer and log into the server. Then the server will verify whether the user is genuine or not. Means any authorized, unauthorized server persons are asking any service or not. Yeah? After, like your, for good example is your email. Yeah? When you are accessing email, first you are providing a username, then password, then it is validated. After validating, the server allows you to access your mail. Say this is called very good example of your client server model. Yeah. So client always depends on the server. So I told you that server, it is a high-end computer that always receives the request from other computers known as clients over a network and provides various kind of services. And these services, various kind of servers are application server, file server, print server, mail server, database server, web server and so on. बहुत सारा सर्वर अवेलेबल है. जिसको जो सर्वर, क्लाउड सर्वर आजकल नया है, क्लाउड सर्वर. Then client, it is a type of computer that access various services made available by a server as part of the client server network model. So the client has no client has, I mean, the it is always depends on the server. It cannot do anything on its own, okay, by nature. But there are some clients are there. This one is, you see, there is a thick client, okay, thin client and hybrid client. These are the types of client. Thick client means what happen, that a user, the client has some processing capacity. It has an operating system. It has a hard drive, storage device, okay, and it has also a CD or a DVD drive, optical drive. Okay, so it has some. Other than that, it is operating system. Thin client में operating system होता है, but it can depends on the server, but still it can process some or handle some parts of its work in its own computer. Yeah, this is called thick client. But thin client has nothing, no operating system, no storage device, nothing. It is just like a electronic device or a small box where all keyboard, network cable, and your pointing devices are connected. Is also connected to the that device, thin client. So you will see a screen where it will ask you put the username, provide the username, then password. After providing all these two things, it will this request will go to the server. Okay, so server will verify whether this one is my genuine user or not. Okay, yes, after verifying it will found yes it is a genuine user because already we have configured that client in, or here configure means we have given the thin client's information, particular thin client's information into a particular server already kept. So the server will found everything on its from its hard drive, then it will allow you to access the operating system. After a few seconds you will get the operating system screen and desktop icon, everything on your screen. Okay, so this is called thin client. But hybrid client, nowadays we are using hybrid clients. Basically these clients have both capacity. It has completely its own processing capacity as well as it can access server. In software company, whenever you will go, you will find these hybrid clients because they are not depending on the server. So clients, I mean the users, they perform their task instantly in their own computer, then later they will send to the server for storage. Yeah, this is called backup. So these are the types of clients. Yeah, and this is complete the client server model. So you see this is a hub or switch. In last class I have explained little bit hub and switch, and this one is your, these are the client 3, client 4, client 2, client printer, server. Okay, all these are connected to the and also told you that a client server model is both wired and wireless network. Okay, so you can also connect through wireless Wi-Fi जो बोला जाता है. Okay, you can put an access point here and connect laptops, various kind of laptops, and get internet also, no problem. Yeah, and this is modem, and this is the ISP, internet service provider, who is providing internet, and that internet service provider is directly connected to your modem. That means you have subscribed internet from an agency. Okay, and that agency given is lay down a cable, or it uses a radio frequency for transmitting data. Okay, तुम्हारे मॉडेम के पास इंटरनेट आ जाता है और मॉडेम डायरेक्टली कनेक्टेड टू स्विच. सो दैट मीन्स ऑल द यूजर्स कैन एक्सेस इंटरनेट. ये हो गया एक बात. Then these are the Wi-Fi. You can using laptop you can access your internet web server or database server, anything. And also remote users means some of your clients are away from your office. They can also use your server, use the office server, not my server, your server. They can also their office server through internet. There is also a, here is also a ISP. Okay, it may be, this ISP may be same ISP or different ISP. यहाँ पे जो ये टावर के पास जो एक ISP है, so this ISP is maybe same ISP or different, no problem, because all these ISPs as per the government rule, all the ISPs are authorized and bound to allow other users to access their network. कोई बंद नहीं कर सकता. For example, say Airtel cannot ban you. They can, but they can't as per the rule. Okay. So here also this ISP may be a same ISP or different ISP, and this is the remote client can also access the same server, maybe file server, maybe database server, maybe print server, whatever it may be. It can, remote client can access through using ISP or internet service provider. Okay, so this is the basic diagram of your client server model. Yeah. Then pros and cons of client server model. Okay, these are the some pros. Centralized server is more stable and reliable. Security can be provided by the server. Earlier I told you that security is nowadays security is much more higher than any other issues. Okay? हमारा सर्वर हमारा सिक्योरिटी सर्वर को मेंटेन सिक्योर रखना बहुत जरूरी है बिकॉज ईच एंड एवरी टाइम हैकर्स आर ट्राइंग टू हैक आवर सर्वर. Also hack our users, also hack our bank account, also hack our websites, everything. So security is highly essential that server can provide to the client. Right? And centralized server more stable and reliable because in standalone machine anybody can access that machine and it can the user other user can manipulate your data also. So for that reason, the server in that case, the centralized server is more reliable because you can keep your data in the server and no other users are allowed to access your data other unless until you give any permission to them. Okay? Then another one is server from different is I told you in that diagram that anybody can access your server. Authorized user can access their access the server from anywhere in remote place, from a remote place also. They can access inside the building. ये तो होगा ही होगा. But other than that, they can access server from a remote place also using internet. Okay, data can be stored centrally. Okay, data it's a very good concept because other users can also use your data. Okay, so for that reason data can be stored centrally because for example say banking sector, आज टेलर काउंटर में कोई एक पर्सन बैठा है तो कल दूसरा पर्सन बैठेगा लेकिन कंप्यूटर सेम सर्वर सेम they can access customers data. Anybody can access. Anybody means authorized person. Okay? जिसको मिला है एक्सेस वो एक्सेस कर सकते हैं. हम आज जा रहे हैं बोले कि हमारा पासबुक अपडेट कर दो. ठीक है आज एक बैठा है कल जाएंगे दूसरा सेकंड कोई किसी और को बोलेंगे कोई और बैठा है इसको बोलेंगे कि और एक बार अपडेट कर दो तो कैसे तुम्हारे अकाउंट को एक्सेस करेगा. So because data is stored in central server, so any authorized user can access your data and it can update your passbook. This is the concept. Then cons, definitely some cons are there in centralized client server model. It's a due to centralized server, the entire network goes down if the central server has any problem. Yes. अगर किसी वजह for any reason if the central server goes down break down then nobody can access or perform their task. For example sometimes you have heard that in a railway counter you are standing in the queue and people are saying no network no network no link no link no link. That means due to some reason the server is not working or performing any task. Okay? So instantly they are trying to obviously there is a backup server. इंस्टेंटली सर्वर को कोई ठीक नहीं कर सकता. बैकअप सर्वर है उसको ऑफ कर दिया जाता है पहले कस्टमर के लिए बाद में उसे ठीक करके फिर लगाया जाता है. सो एक बार बिकॉज इट्स ए सेंट्रलाइज्ड सर्वर एवरी टास्क ऑल द यूजर्स डिपेंड्स ऑन द सर्वर. So it is a little bit difficult if the central server goes down. Okay. Then another one is the central server required regular maintenance and updating. Yes, because it's a high-end computer, its maintenance cost is also very high. We have to update and keep our server secure from the hackers each and every time, every second. Okay. Then only we can maintain our network. Then another one installation cost. Yes, obviously few minutes ago I have already told you that installation the costing of the server switch everything are very very costly. These are 1 लाख से नीचे कोई सर्वर नहीं है. 2.5-2 लाख से नीचे कोई मैनेज्ड स्विच भी नहीं है. अगर हमको प्रॉपर नेटवर्क बनाना है corporate sector network. So we have these are the some cons of disadvantages of client server model. So thank you guys, and in next class we will discuss about types of client server architecture. Till then, bye bye.